Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me this Saturday. Saturday, I can't believe I'm trying to get Saturday already. Well, this week it is Thursday, Thursday 14th of the 7th. Great day, fantastic day. Well, every day is a fantastic day, I must say. Thanks for those on Instagram. Thanks for those joining on YouTube, Facebook as well. One thing I'll say is remember to like, share, subscribe. Who is the new president of? I was speaking to someone on Instagram a while ago. Who's the president of America? Anyways, Joe Biden, and he's still there. So let's not go there. But today we're going to be talking about who will be the next British Prime Minister. Who is going to be the next British Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen? It seemed like it's going to be a good one. The brain getting, somebody said the brain I get old, maybe it's Biden spirit. Gary, how are you?
Not bad, man, not bad. How are you? It's great to be a part of the Sylbourne Garry show again.
I tell you what, it's great to be a part also of my own show as well, and big up to Michelle, who is there all the way from the States. At one point, I lost my bearings a while ago, and I was saying the president, and I was saying that's the thing, when they start talking about Joe Biden, you start to sleep. I started to say all manner of things, But yeah, Gary, it was a hot week. It's been a hot week this week, and I'm sure many people have been enjoying the hot temperature. I hope you didn't mind. You didn't mind the temperature, did you?
Not at all. I'm welcoming the temperature. I hope it stays around till at least mid-September, end of September.
Yeah, I see a lot of people complain, but I love going out there in the park and just really enjoying the sunshine. And but they said there's a dangerous period though between 11 and 3. They say don't go out between 11 and 3, or the vitamin D is gonna get you. You know what I mean? Vitamin D is gonna get you. I say people get your vitamin D fast before it goes, man. But listen, have you been following the latest regarding the contenders for the prime ministership of the United Kingdom? It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, have you seen?
Have you seen the person that you want to be the next prime minister?
Yes,
Gary, I think you have.
There's an individual, I think.
Gary, are you getting a feedback?
Let me go out and come back in.
Yeah, if you pop out and come back, that's great. That's great. If you pop out and come back, Good. William, how are you doing? One out, one coming. You vote out the prime minister, you still get the prime minister. You vote out the government, you still get the government. Isn't that so, William? Okay. There's I think you got a voice. Yes, William.
Yes. Yeah. So just the settings here were a bit different from my standard settings. So, but I'm here now.
Fantastic. Let me just bring him back, Gary, to see if he got his thing queued up. Gary, are you queued up?
I'm here. I'm okay. Hearing?
I can hear you, but I think maybe I've said something against the government or what, and they're messing up your Wi-Fi. Is that it?
Probably.
Okay, that's no problem. Well, William Hagerup, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Thank you very well. Good evening here in Britain at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining. And Gary William, a good friend of mine from years ago. Meet Reverend Gary Graham. Yeah.
Good evening.
Gary keeps the peace as well, Tell me now, guys. We go straight into it. Have you guys been monitoring the shift the changing face of the United Kingdom, the changing face of number 10, the road to number 10. Who will be the next prime minister? William, I go for you first, sir.
Well, the changing face, you could say the changing two-facedness of number 10 would be perhaps one other way of putting it. I think the problem is that we have a government that is in power technically, but not really in charge, because they have no vision. They have no idea for taking the country in a conservative direction, for sure. So they are sort of drifting along, just sort of being taken by the stream of the time, I think, and reacting to circumstances as they pop up. And it's very disappointing because one had hoped after Brexit that this government would now, make the most of those opportunities and actually move the country in the right direction, but they haven't.
Right. So what you're saying now is that the country is not moving in the right conservative direction.
I believe that is the case, yes.
Gary, what's your take before we get into the different contenders? Let's see if we can hear you still, even though I can see it's a bit blurry for you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You keep talking. It will come through.
You can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I'm glad that there is somebody like William on this platform at the time, because, like yourself, I'm a conservative voter, and I'm a conservative man, and I will agree with what William has said, that I don't think that the Conservative Party really has been in the direction of true conservatism, in my mind. I think that since the old guard, and if I can say since what's his name? He was the past chancellor.
Okay.
No, not Heseltine. What's his name? He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the last British government. No, not Osborne. The one before him, Kenneth Clark. Kenneth Clark. Yes, Kenneth. Yeah. Since I would say that he is the last old guard of the Conservative Party. In my mind. I mean, William would have to correct me on that. But I think since that era has passed, there has not really been any true conservative leadership that has really taken a hold of the helm. David Cameron, fine, okay. I think he tried to do what for the Conservative Party to what Tony Blair did to the Labour Party, but I don't think that Cameron made the transition as smoothly as it could have been done. And I think that there must have been a little bit of miscommunication throughout the party, and even in it being communicated to the nation, really. So I think that with what Boris has done now, see when Boris failed, capitalize on that, and even to conservatives, because I think that it was right if you had people like Heseltine. Now, to me, I mean, I know I'm a minister of the cloth, but to me, Heseltine is my guy. I mean, I just love Heseltine. It's just a pity that he's not of the age, really, to kind of take hold of what needs to be done. But then we don't have that. We don't have that kind of leadership in the Conservative Party anymore. So I don't know, William. Can you help me?
Well, I can't run for the leadership if that's what you mean. But I think yes, I think you're right on the point of leadership, because what we are getting a lot of at the moment as well with these contenders is that they're talking about their backstory and how their parents were or how they came to Britain. And I mean, it's great to see that it really doesn't matter, whether you're a man or a woman. It helps that you know that you are either, or what color you are, or what any of those things. That I've seen so much more obsessive commentary on that on BBC than anywhere, and nobody else cares. It's just about what are your ideas, what do you want to do. But we've seen, I've heard too little of that. What do we really want to do? What is the program? And a prime minister in Britain is not a president, so he or she is not going to put forward their personal program, but they should be saying where should the country go, and why is the election manifesto that we were elected on, why is that the right thing to stick with, and to take the country forward in a conservative direction, which means not trying from the top to control what people think, say, do, and to tell them how to live their lives. It is to make sure that people can create their own lives, and to make sure that the police, instead of going after people, telling them what they're not allowed to say on internet, and at the same time, putting into prison, or at least arresting, this guy who was preaching with a Bible because someone was offended that he said something that happens to have been in the Bible for 1,000 years or more.
Yes.
And then at the same time, they're not able to catch actual criminals. And what has this Conservative government done about these things? Absolutely very little indeed. And the only one I can see who are talking sense on this is Kemi Badenoch. She's probably not realistic to win, but it's good that she's there and she's raising these issues.
Bringing that conversation.
Exactly, yes.
It's interesting what you said there about Kemi Badenoch, because that's what a lot of people are actually saying. She seems to be the only one who is reviving that sort of old guard mentality as to what conservatism is about, and that is why she's getting a lot of props, and that is something what Garry is talking about. So therefore, maybe you're having a resurrection based on this competition, and maybe it may push whosoever become the leader to really come forth. I mean, Penny Mordaunt said some very interesting thing about she doesn't have a willy. Many people didn't understand what she meant by that, but even was she using it in a twofold way, William?
Well, what she was referring to actually is that some time back she said that she believes that a trans man is a man, and vice versa. I suppose a trans woman is a woman. Now, by saying that, what she actually was saying, she was sort of cozying up to this sort of trans activist lobby, a certain ideology that said, you are a man or a woman based on what you feel. If you feel that you are like that, whether your actual physical makeup is not aligned with that feeling. And then, so she came under criticism for having said that now, and then, so now suddenly she wants to roll back on that and say that, oh, well, I don't have a willy and I don't need one because I'm a woman, or something, whatever it was, the exact wording. So it was a bit of a flippant way of trying to actually roll back from sort of cozying up to the more extreme end of the trans activist lobby, because there's a perfect...
So she became apologetic. Did she become apologetic? Slightly.
I think she did. Yeah, it's a sort of reverse of the normal cancel culture, where people tend to say a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and then after being bombarded, like the singer
Macy Gray,
wasn't it? Yes, who just came out with what she thought was common sense, man is a man, woman is a woman. And then she was attacked online, and after a few days, said that, oh, well, like in the old Soviet Union, those of us old enough to remember, when those who had sinned against the party had to sort of stand up and apologize for having done a thought crime, as George always called it. But here, you sort of saw it in reverse, where Penny Mordaunt first sort of went along with the political correctness, and then she sort of now tries to row back from it. Whereas Kemi Badenoch has been absolutely consistent throughout. And I think there's a perfectly conservative case for saying that, look, we, in an open, free society where the government isn't trying to control your life, if someone feels that they don't fit into some gender stereotype, by all means, nobody's going to stop you, nobody's going to tell you you have to do this, you have to do that. But the government should not be pushing one particular ideology that is very contentious. That's not the role of government, and I think that's where Kemi has gone.
Okay, let's look first on this video here. This is the first video of one of the contenders. Is this what we would call a new day in British politics? Is there a shift? Gary, are you seeing a shift whereby the UK could have the second female prime minister and the first black prime minister?
The third.
Sorry, the third female prime minister?
Yeah, we have Margaret Thatcher, May.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Oh, how could I forget Theresa May? My apologies. Yes.
I think anybody can forget Theresa May. So
that's not good. That's not good. Yeah.
I don't. Nothing against Kemi. Nothing against Kemi. Applaud her if she got there. But I don't know if William would agree that the Conservative Party, as much as I love the Conservative Party, I don't think the Conservative Party, and I really don't think that the country is ready for a black woman to hold the premiership. Not to say that Kim is able to. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in as much Barack Obama and the history of the United States, such that everybody thought that a black man would never become one or would never become a president. But I think the British politics is quite different in its makeup and in its approach. And even Sunak as an Asian coming in to take on the premiership, I don't know. I really don't know if the country and or even again Conservative Party is ready for that. Even though they seem to be warming to it, and probably they accept Asian and Asian premier, but I don't think that the UK is ready for that at all. I really don't think so. I don't know if William would agree on that. But
I go to William. I go to William, but wasn't this the same conversation was being had when Barack Obama nomination was going through? It seemed like the same conversation was going on, and then he became the president. William.
Well, America and Britain, as Gary alluded to, are two very, very different countries. There's a saying often accredited to George Bernard Shaw, although it could be Oscar Wilde, that says that America and England are two countries divided by a common language.
Yeah.
And because we speak, well, they speak a sort of English, but because it's both in English, we think we understand what's happening over there. We don't. It's very, very different. And so I wouldn't want to compare too much. What I would say is that, when Disraeli became prime minister, he was, I think, someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think he was the first Jewish prime minister. This was a big thing, back then. But it just happened. Why? Because that's how parliamentarism works. That you get people who are capable in the party coming up, yes, and then that party wins. Okay, so and that's why Margaret Thatcher was a competent leader. Nobody thought, she didn't think the country was ready for a female prime minister in her lifetime, but she made it. When we had Theresa May, it was the second woman prime minister, but it really didn't matter. What mattered was that she wasn't all that competent, so she was out quite quickly. Boris Johnson came in, so he's the typical standard, gone to Eton, Oxford, from a wide, relatively privileged background. Very typical material. Well, he did very well in Brexit, but that's because he was driven by Dominic Cummings to do the right thing all the time. He was driven by Mr. Cummings. He did well. As soon as he left government, notice it all fell apart because he had no project. So I don't think it really matters whether you're a man or a woman or you're black or you're white in this country, because you are leading a party and people are voting for a party is not a precedent. And I think where I think I might agree with Gary is that it's not realistic this time around, but only because she's not experienced enough. She's a very, very new person in terms of, she's only held ministerial post, not sat in the cabinet. So I think because she's not senior enough as a politician, she probably won't make it through this time. But it's not because of the color of her skin or because, her parents were from Nigeria. She, I think, was born in London, actually. She's just another Brit. If she has the right ideas, she
because
will do the right thing. That's the main thing.
Because she's an equalities minister for Levelling Up under Boris Johnson before she resigned. Former software engineer. She hacked. This is part of her claim to fame. She hacked Labour MP Harriet Harman's website in 2008. was born in Wimbledon but lived in Nigeria and the US until returning to the UK at the age of 16. Let's listen to her again briefly.
Unilateral economic disarmament. And that is why that's why I'm running to be leader. To be a prime minister who tells the truth, because the truth will set us free. The problems run deep, and I'm in no doubt about the scale of the challenge any new prime minister will have to deal with. The underlying economic problems we face have been exacerbated by COVID and by war. But what makes the situation worse is that the answers to our problems, conservative answers, haven't been articulated or delivered in a way appropriate to the modern age. We have been in the grip of an underlying economic, social, cultural, and intellectual malaise. The right has lost its confidence and courage. Our ability to defend the free market as the fairest way of helping people prosper has been on the country's unilateral economic.
She made a brilliant point right there about the right has lost its way, in the sense of not standing up for what they believe in. They've been spooked.
I think so, and I'm sure the Reverend appreciated her quote there from the Gospels, but but I think not that I don't think politicians should dabble too much in religion. That can become rather dangerous. But I think her point is right. Yes, we need to be straight. We need to face the truth, and that includes in terms of the culture war. That is such an important point right now, because the culture, whether you call it culture war, whether you call it something else, but basically that conflict of ideas about what should the government do. And the Conservatives have lost their ways, because first of all, they're not standing up to that woke political correctness madness. They're not standing up to that, but then that's because they don't really know what they don't know their own ideas. They don't really know what they stand for, and that's why they can't fight the culture war. So I think that's the problem. But also on the economy, she was right. If they really want to level up in the north, make free ports, reduce taxes, reduce regulation, make it easy for people to create business. Are they just going to sit there and wait until the government gives them a business into their hands? Come on, you just got to free them up, and then it will happen.
Yeah. If you break down conservatism, for us and for listeners, the whole essence of conservatism and what Conservative Party stands for, and if one is selling it, how do you sell it, William?
Well, the brilliant philosopher Roger Scruton, now sadly departed, said that conservatism is love of that which is. You look around you and you love your family, your home, your town, your country, your traditions, the things around you. You love them and you don't want to ruin them. And so if that is true, then in essence you are a conservative, because obviously the word comes from to conserve, to make sure that something is not destroyed. But you also have to change to conserve. You have to change what needs to be changed. And the great conservative thinker, Edmund Burke, he defined it as such. We stand in a tradition where we have been given something by our forefathers. We must maintain it now and pass it on to our children. So that's triangular, as it were, or three-step flow that we stand in. And where the liberals, and both the left liberals, but even those who are more libertarian liberals, which I have a lot of sympathy for, but where I think sometimes they make the mistake is that they get arrogant and they think that all the wisdom we have been given by our forefathers is naught. It's not worth anything, and we're going to reinvent the wheel. And that's where the radical and the progressive also make that big mistake. They want to reinvent the wheel. But conservatism is a love for that which is, a realization we have been given something, we need to not mess it up, but pass it on. And thirdly, I would just specify it is to preserve institutions, because what has made this country so successful is that it depends on institutions that we all respect. And those countries in the world that are really struggling, that's where the institutions are not respected. So I think those 3 points I would point out are essences of conservatism.
And what if some people say it sounds like it is in the old age? Not the society is changing, society is evolving, and therefore we need to move with the times. It's like you're going back to that everything cool man, smooth man from those days where Gary used to have long dreadlocks here and smoking things. Right, Gary? I don't know.
I would have liked to see me doing all of that.
Yeah, that point which I brought up there, because right now the conservative is on the spotlight and everybody's now looking in. Many people are actually saying, who are these persons who are going to be choosing the next prime minister? And if it doesn't whittle down to the two, and it's a coronation when you have one, but they want to take it down to the 200,000 members, and those 200,000 members will determine who is going to be the next prime minister for the 54 million people in this country or so. Is that fair? But I guess, William, you may break down for me the whole parliamentary system. Is that fair for a few bunch of persons to determine and to impose upon people the next prime minister?
Well, are you asking me first?
No, William, we're going at you because we have been here. Gary's with me every week. We only can get you for a few minutes, so we're taking we're going at you. Yeah.
No worries. Yes, thank you. Okay, yes. So, well, you alluded to the fact that it is a parliamentary system, which means that also, as mentioned, we don't elect a president, so it is the leader of that party in parliament that has the majority to form a government, and they choose whoever should lead that government.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of the constitutional side, dare I say. Again, Britain hasn't got a written constitution, but it's based on traditions and ways of doing things, and some things are written down. So, but as it works, that's how it works, right? So it's not unfair that the party in parliament should vote for whoever leads the work of the government, because the government springs from them. Now, if it's right that it should then go to the members of the Conservative Party, well, there I think that there is an argument to be said that that's a little bit unfortunate. Now, the Conservative Party made that rule back in, can't remember the exact year now, I think late 90s, early 2000, in order to renew the party. Because they wanted, there's the other element, which is that the Prime Minister will most likely lead, or the leader of the party will lead the party into a general election.
Yeah.
So having someone that the membership is fully behind and enthusiastic about, gives them a much greater chance to win the next election. But it was designed when they were not in power. Yeah. Now they're in power, it is a little bit problematic that you choose someone in parliament and then you go outside of parliament to get the final answer. And it can be argued that that's a little bit unfortunate. But the fact that they choose it in the parliamentary group, that's not problematic at all. That's as it should be.
Because what is very interesting now, and Gary, we can look at this, is that Rishi Sunak somehow is leading 101 and is vibrant and he's going forward. And many people are actually saying, based on the figures, he could be the next prime minister. But the polls are actually saying Penny Mordaunt seems to be the one who is generating more interest from the grassroots, right? And there she is. So she's actually climbing. And the whole thinking is that lots of the MPs now are actually watching the polls. Some are not listening to the polls if it is not going with their guy. They say, oh, let's ignore the polls. But actually looking at the polls to find out who is the person we should back because we want to win the next general election. Gary, what's your take on that bit? And that is what's going to be the dynamics in the next few days leading up to the last two.
Well, again, that is why I think, and I really believe, based, if I'm understanding correctly with what William is saying, if I'm interpreting it, but that's why I'm saying that I don't think the country is ready for Sunak. I think the country is ready for a penny. It's funny, isn't it? For a penny and not for a Sunak. Yeah, I think the country is ready for a penny. Penny seems to, notice what she has said, even in her delivery, she's not changing any of the, as far as she's concerned, she's not changing any of the policies that Boris won on, because that's what the country wanted. That's what the country wanted. She's not presenting anything any newer than what he's done. And if that is what she's going to be doing, that's what the country is saying to her, do then what we put there to do.
Yeah.
Now, Sunak may be the poster boy for the parliamentary people.
Yes.
That's one thing. But we must remember, well, not so much us, they must remember that it was the constituencies, them where they are. And the constituency is saying they want a penny, and she says she's not changing any of the policy that Boris Johnson won on, then it's the country that's going to put that is saying to them, put Penny there.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
if Sunak wins, right, I don't think that the Conservative Party is going to have an easy time. I don't think so.
William, because I know you got to go very quickly, and we're trying to pull as much from you, and we're going to have some more discussion. Who do you think is poised to be the next Conservative leader based on how it is unfolding? And they watch this. Graham Brady watch my show sometime. He follows my thing. And Richard Sunak used to watch it and shut us down if we say anything wrong.
I thought that was Patel who did that sort of thing. Well, it's always dangerous to give these public predictions, isn't it? So if someone is recording this, I may hear back if I made the wrong call. But so I'll hedge my bets a little bit and do just a little reasoning, which is that so if Kemi now is out in the next round, then the question is how many not Sunak votes are there, and as opposed to how many not Mordaunt or not Truss. So what I mean is that if people who really don't want Sunak, if they see that Truss may be sailing up, but they really don't want her, then they will fall behind Mordaunt, and you'll see her surging. If, on the other hand, those who don't want Sunak, start to fall in behind Truss, you can suddenly see, Kemi's people going to Truss rather than Mordaunt, for example. So I think, and then if you end up with Truss versus Sunak, then I think Truss is very likely. If it's Sunak versus Mordaunt, then she's very likely. So I think my best prediction would be not Sunak, although he's the favorite, but he's got a lot.
He's a politician. He's a politician, Gary. He's gonna.
You know what, Sylbourne? I think William. If you could vote William in, probably he'd be the better PM.
Well, I certainly know a few things I would definitely do if I had the paper.
No one can actually say that you made a declaration on this show today.
That's good. But I'll stand for the fact that I think Sunak is not the massive favorite he thinks he is. I think he's going to struggle a lot, and particularly with members, I think he's going to struggle a lot. So even though he makes it through to the members, if one of those two ladies make it through, I think they may be more popular with the membership. That's the only thing I can say. But I'm obviously, these days anything can happen in politics.
Anything can happen. And I tell you what, before you go, Braverman backs Truss, says sources, and Kemi is not happy. Well, she said she's not happy. She's disappointed that Braverman will back Liz Truss because she's my friend. I'm disappointed, still, and I have friends. I'm friends with Tom as well. Rishi and Liz were my senior ministers. So there's a lot of actually backdoor deals and all those things going to happen now. So it's very interesting days. But definitely by next week, Friday, I think, we will know who is the final two going to the membership. Okay? William, listen, unless you want to say anything else, I know you got to go.
Yes, I know it was great fun to be on your show here, Sylbourne, and it was nice to see you again.
Definitely, we were talking. We were doing some more reviews leading up on my ad hoc shows when we discuss the road to number 10. Thank you, William. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
good
sir.
meeting you, man.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was a good sort of discussion on the whole thing. Gary, the point I was just bringing up a while ago. Hi, Max. How are you there? Is is the Steve Baker back in Liz Truss, Braverman back in Truss. Welcome news to Foreign Secretary. Badenoch says she's disappointed by her. Braverman backs Truss. Sunak prepared to give everything as PM. I think what people are actually looking at, and you said it, people are looking for a safe pair of hands. They don't want to try anything too new, but somebody who can show some level of maturity. Is that not saying Kemi is not mature, but maturity in serious offices in government?
I mean, um, okay, sooner he may be competent. Yeah,
Yes.
he may be competent. You've got, you've got, you've got Kemi. She may be just as competent to the job. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
And kudos to these guys. But you need someone who has had some degree of experience, know what it is, be in the cabinet for a length of time. And Sunak doesn't have that. Kemi does not have that.
Yeah.
And there's a few more that don't have it. Liz Trust has it. She's been in government there for quite a long time. Penny's been there also.
Yes.
And you need some. Listen, it's not only within the country you need someone to be representative. You know, you've got the outside world.
Yeah.
They need to know. You know, you've got to have the confidence of the political world.
Yes.
And if you have another person like Boris going in there, not being silly in that sense, but the incompetence, it's just plain incompetence. I don't know. It's not their fault. Everybody was making fun of Boris before he got in. So what would it so what would we ever have thought to say,
Mm.
okay, we put him in we'll give him the position, he may change. No, leopards don't change spots.
Yeah.
You
There,
know?
there, there's somebody who's a Facebook user, and sorry, Facebook user. I don't know who it is because it only says Facebook user, as you can see. And the person saying Tom is not in the limelight, but who knows? That is Tom Tugerman. Very quiet guy. He actually went to his press conference whereby he looked like Tony Blair and David Cameron, where he had on his white shirt, just like you, Gary. Yeah, just like you, rolling up your white shirt, showing that you're a man of the people. That's what he did. And Facebook user also said that the polls tend to be correct. And I know a lot of MPs were actually ravishing the polls today because they were saying that, well, we don't watch the polls, but they only do that when it's not going their way, And Penny, as Facebook user is saying, Penny, it seemed most likely to win. But what about the hang on, we're just five now. I just realized I was trying to find somebody else, but I realized we're just five. It's just five persons now, even though I'm going to put up this picture now. But take out Nazim, take out Suella. What we have now is Rishi, take out Jeremy Hunt, Kemi, Tugerman, Liz Truss. Okay, so you got three ladies. Am I correct? One,
Yeah.
three ladies, and two men. Five.
But Sylbourne, the Facebook user. I mean, is it someone that could be influential in their thoughts, or doesn't want, or how do you hide?
No. What happened? So it's nothing to do with that. There's a system on this depending on where they're coming from. I've got to put something there that they click so they can be seen as who they are if they come from a group. I think maybe what they are doing, if I'm not mistaken, they're coming from Facilitators for a Better Jamaica. That's where they're actually watching the show from. And if they're watching it from Facilitators for a Better Jamaica, it's a group. And for persons in group to actually show their name, there's something that the platform has got to do so they
but
can
anyway,
click on
I
the
mean,
thing.
yeah. What I wanted to say anyway is they have said what they've said it quite clearly, and
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with what they said. They made a second statement. A colored man is going to have a hard time,
Yes.
not impossible, and that is true. That is true. It's not impossible, but you put a colored man there, they're going to have a difficult time. And I think
Ah,
that
it's Milverton Hyde. I know it is Milverton. Hi, Milverton. How are you? I know it is. Yeah, I can see detail. Carry on, Gary. Yes.
so that is true. It's just like with Barack Obama. It wasn't impossible for him to become president. No, it wasn't.
Mm.
But he never had it his way at all. He had it difficult. There was hardly anything that he brought to the House of Representatives or to the Senate or to the
Yeah.
House that was ever passed. He
But
had it very difficult. So to me, this country, this country again, I don't know if it will ever be,
mm,
for right now, that we'll have a colored individual, whether it be man or woman.
yeah.
Again, not impossible, but there's going to be some difficulties.
And Michelle made a brilliant point, but I see it on the YouTube, but I can't see it on my bit to put it up there. What Michelle says, I campaigned for Obama, and I don't think he did a good job at all. I bet you won't see another black president. Um, the thing about the UK, about the dynamics of the UK, and Milverton would agree with this, is that while Kemi may strike a positive nerve with the Conservative Party and maybe strike a positive nerve within the London area, when it gets out there in the heartlands, that's another kettle of fish there. You'll see the real dynamics. And at this moment, it is good that she put herself forward. It is good that she's showing up, because if you don't show up, you're not going to be. If you don't buy a
Right,
ticket for the
right.
lottery, you will never ever win a lottery ticket. um, and we're going to see how things unfold in the next few days. And then, as I said to people, I've got one ticket, one vote, one vote I have. And if you guys want to lobby me, we can talk off air. You can lobby me as much as you want, as who you want me to vote for. you know so that's very interesting. But listen, what is happening with, I mean, I know we talk about this a lot, but what's happening with Russia? I mean, this Russian war just keep going on there, isn't it? They're still pumping money there.
You mean on what side? What do you mean?
No, in Ukraine, the whole war going on with Russia.
Well, I mean, the NATO, the Western Alliance, is not going to allow Russia to do what they want to do. I mean, if Russia wants Ukraine, they're going to have to fight tooth and nail, and it won't be an easy war. I really believe um, if Russia settles, if Russia, well, okay, go back a bit.
Mm.
You've got Finland. Is it Finland and Denmark on the top borders there? Is it Finland and Denmark, or yeah, I think it's Finland and Denmark, isn't it? Or is it
Yeah.
Sweden? Can't remember. But
Mm.
those two nations who joined NATO, yes, now they are more or less the closest on the northern flanks to Russia.
Yeah.
Now, they again, according to history, they were once allies of the
Mm.
Soviet Union. They were once allies of the Soviet Union, and these two countries that have joined NATO, they have um, you know said that they are not going back in that direction. They're willing to fight. They're willing to fight for their
Mm.
freedom. So when you've got Ukraine down in their southern borders, and then they've got Sweden from Finland and Sweden, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on their
Mm.
northern flanks, then Russia is not going to be happy. And I think that Ukraine, they will fight tooth and nail for it. But the Western countries, the Western alliances have said they're willing. They've made reassurances to Ukraine that they will fight for them. Well, yeah, they're willing to pump in as much military aid as they can. So, that war is going to go on. That war is going to go on. It's not stopping for now. The only way it will stop still is when Russia backs off.
Yeah.
That's the only time. And
So you think it's like one of those forever Middle East wars. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see Putin. I don't know if you read this at all. It's been coming out in dribs and drabs really over the weeks, but there is someone saying one Ukraine high official, and even in a Russian official who is more or less who's fled the Russia for a few, but they've said that Putin is not well, that Putin is very ill.
That's been said for a long time, Gary. That's been said for a long time that Putin's not well, and it's in the interest of those, because you have to remember, propaganda is something which is at a high level still, So let's see how it goes. I just got a news a while ago that Donald Trump, Ivana Trump, she died at 73. She died today, apparently. Donald Trump's wife, Ivana Trump, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
She died. There it is. Ivana Trump, Donald Trump, first wife, died.
Oh, okay. His first wife. Okay.
Yeah. One in Czech Republic, she died. And it's interesting though, because today I'm listening to the whole insert starting their investigation with it and the court with it. It was really interesting watching that today as well. It is his ex-wife. Somebody just confirmed as well. Michelle Clark said, "Red, we are not a box of crayons." Just to let you know that. Michelle Clark, you're a good friend. She said, "Don't say it." She's actually guiding you and advising you. She said, "Rev, don't say color." Michelle Clark.
Don't say what? I don't know.
Don't say color. You said color some point ago. You're talking about black people. You said color. You said color.
Well, no, it's a colored man. I'm just reading what was said here about a colored man.
Right. Okay. Michelle, he's not. It wasn't from his word. It was from Milverton Hyde. It is a Facebook user. Gary was just actually reading the comments. So take that back, Michelle. Correct yourself.
Michelle. I mean, I don't want to lose my. I've got two fans. I mean, Michelle and Deanne. And Deanne is not on it. I haven't seen Deanne for a little while, and I don't want to lose you. If I lose you, I don't have anybody. So.
Well, Gary, listen, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Those on Instagram as well, Maggie as well. We will see how things unfold. I really hope, and one thing that I want to see that come across very soon is the focus on the high cost of living, the focus on actually coming together with all the different leaders, Keir Starmer, Nicola Sturgeon. Sturmer somewhat feel like he's out of depth. He feel a bit irrelevant. So you keep talking about elections. And Gary, I don't know if you're watching Question Time. Maybe I'm going to try to send a video to you. But the speaker, he was so angry. He kicked out two guys out of Parliament. But he was so angry. I thought he was going to have a heart attack, Gary. He was. Did you see? He was angry, man. Huh?
Yeah, he was very angry. He was upset. He was very upset.
Yeah, but he's got to watch his heart, man. He's got to watch himself, And really, he was so angry. These guys are rude, So anyway, Gary, listen, take care of yourself. And we will. I guess we'll be talking more about the elections anyhow still. by the end of, I might be going down to College Green by Westminster tomorrow. So I look forward to see you there. I'll be on the green. You know?
What are you going to be doing there? Doing your motivational talk and walk?
No. My interview. This program actually started off on Sundays at Westminster,
Really?
right on College Green. When that's where we used to do interviews. That's where I used to do it on a Sunday. And then with the COVID thing, we sort of took it inside. So I might pop down there and to see which MP or so I can speak to. You know, and take it
See if we can talk to Sunak.
to Sunak. Yeah. I'll try to get to Sunak. Yeah. He's trying to reach to the whole world. Sajid Javid didn't do well after that prayers. After he got all those prayers from church.
Well, I don't think his people. Is he Muslim?
I think Sajid Javid is Pakistan background. Yes.
He's Muslim. Well, probably. You have to blame his followers, mate. Problem is, his followers didn't support him when he voiced that he was listening to Les Isaacs.
Yeah. He's a traitor, and he didn't do that well after all that big speech. You know what I mean? But I think Sunak would bring him into the cabinet, because what is happening now as well is that they're all jockeying for positions and jockeying for power and jockeying to be, you know. So they are now playing. They are now watching. Who do I throw my support by when I pull out? Who do I throw my support behind? And that's what's going to happen in the next few days. Okay.
Hold on. One thing you see, still anybody that takes on the position of the leader and prime minister, even if it's for a day, them being prime minister for a day, they'll be classed as prime minister. So I think that it's the what's the term? It's the
privilege.
Huh?
The privilege.
The privilege. There's something else, but it's the privilege. You can use privilege. It's the privilege of being prime minister for a month, for 2 months, for 6 months.
You'll forever be a prime minister.
He will always be known as the man who took over to be prime minister, and he was prime minister. Even if they went back to the country, after 6 months or after 8 months, they will always be known as the prime minister.
As the prime minister.
Yeah. So it's kudos to all of them. I think that all that went for it, all 8 of them that went, if it was that much, that I take my hat off to them, because obviously they must have felt somewhere in their minds that they were able to be the prime minister, to be the leader of the Conservative Party. Yeah. So well dues to them. But
kudos to them.
At the same time, it takes a special type of person really with the character to be prime minister, because listen, it's not an easy thing to take on that heavy responsibility to be one to do it, so
yeah. Okay, well, Michelle said she'd take it back.
Thank you, Michelle, for that. Grateful for that.
Take it back.
Listen, I've been noticing though that she's been listening to me on some Sunday, on some weekdays. So that's good, Michelle. Keep it up. At least my worldwide church is growing one cocoa full basket. They say, isn't it?
Full the basket. Get it right. One cocoa full the basket. Yeah. All right, Gary. Listen, have a good night. Yeah.
All right then, sir. Thank you for helping me to be for allowing me to be a part of your Sylbourne worldwide show.
Pleasure is mine, and thank you for your wisdom as well. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. Those on Instagram, those on Facebook. Remember to like and share. Milverton Hyde. I'm gonna try to sort out that bit there as to why one is not being seen, and Michelle and everybody else. Hope the show was very interesting about conservative, and thank for William also for joining tonight as well. Okay, have a good night. Thank you very much, and God bless you.